Another episode of the You Only Live Once Life and Business Innovation Style Yummy Conversations, where I, honey, bring you yummy conversations so that you can stay yummy in your body. Today we're going to be talking about 3 to 5 reasons on how to stop binge eating, even if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling stressed, if you're not feeling the best version of yourself, if you're just feeling crappy, you're feeling lethargic, you're feeling gross, you're just not feeling like on top of the world. Because we all know, especially people who are used to feeling motivated, successful, people like you who what it's like when you're in flow and enjoying yourself and getting things done. Binge eating gets in the way, and oftentimes it's emotional eating, and it is a distraction and a procrastination method that doesn't allow you to focus on what's important. It takes you away and also creates a whole sense of guilt type emotion in you. And so here we're going to talk about how to get rid of these emotions and how to transform these emotions and how to come back to ourselves and also, in essence, actually face the truth and move on from some of these habits that are pretty gnarly in the world, especially in our own personal worlds. All right, so the first thing, obviously, or maybe not as obvious, is as you're looking at food in your closet, in the pantry, or on your desk, or wherever that is, and you know that it's not something, your tummy isn't hungry and you don't need it. So the first thing is to notice whether or not you actually want that piece of food or that package of food or that bag of chips. And the thing is, when we're trying to procrastinate and when we aren't dealing with some of the emotions that are underlying or the stress that's underlying, it's so easy to want to use food to cover it up and to press it down. And so the first point is noticing that there is an existence of that habit, and also when it comes into your vicinity and when you're just about to binge, have that moment of awareness being like, I'm actually not hungry. What can I do? And then the moment you interject that behavior, there's like a automated behavior that happens when you just shove it into your mouth and you're binge eating. And so the second thing is to take a deep breath, a tummy breath, all the way down to your tummy, and then breathing in and out. Is just breathe in, just to release whatever stress and anxiety or whatever emotion that you're feeling at the moment, and just release it or just be present to it. Because what it does is that it gives us a bit more time to make that choice, because before we go unconscious again, before the unconscious mind takes over, the automation takes over, and you're really just going for it. So after noticing and taking a deep breath, then the third point is asking yourself, what emotions are you actually avoiding? So if I were to tune into the emotions sometimes that people can be avoiding, it's resistance, towards doing something. Maybe it's boredom. Maybe it's inability to be with whatever there is in the present moment. Could be frustration, stress of the unknown, fear, anxiety. It could be a variety of emotions. So be present and asking yourself, what is the emotion that I'm feeling right now? And even if you don't have an answer, you can always breathe into it, like a mindfulness practice, like we talk about so much here. And then release it. Imagining every time you breathe into it, you're breathing into the emotion and then releasing that. And then after that, let's step 4, breathing into it and releasing it. And then after that, step 5, with that same amount of love and acceptance and compassion, is asking it, what would it like instead? If you aren't avoiding and masking and creating this distance between you and your emotions, or you and the behavior of binge eating, or whatever binge eating is trying to cover, then what would it like instead? Does it need more love? Does it need more acceptance? Does it need more company? Does it need more attention? Does it need more sweetness? You know, so because sometimes like we're like, oh, it needs more food, and it actually isn't. It actually is something deeper, a deeper value maybe that you're missing, or a deeper truth that is wanting to come out sometimes when we're doing something that we don't really want to do and that really isn't aligned to us, and the way that it's shaped or the way that it's being dictated to do, especially if you're doing like a work piece, or if you're studying, or if you are executing something that isn't truly aligned to what you want, then there's going to be resistance. And understanding what that resistance is and how you can navigate through that to get into action again, and then to not let yourself drop into procrastination in the form of binge eating, or avoiding your emotions in the form of binge eating, and not actually getting the messages of what it's really trying to say when you're binge eating, does not help. So what do you actually want, and how can you feel better at this moment? So what would it take to feel really good and to feel less stressed? So that's the question, the last question I'm asking. How can I do this instead, and how do I actually want to feel? And these are 5 different steps that you can take one at a time to gain more clarity, gain more awareness around these habits, and of course, like, super simple to be able to release yourself from that mechanism. Of course, it's easier said than done. However, I've noticed that even if you do go back into it, at least you know and you're consciously aware that there is a choice for you to get back into it. So there's no need for judgment or anything. It's just about a daily step of awareness every time that you do find yourself in engaging in these activities, knowing that, hey, you know what, there's a message here that's saying that I'm not really paying attention to a deeper level of need that my body really needs right now. All right, so subscribe if you want to hear more about these useful tips on your daily life, on how you can connect more into your true being and understanding the true messages that your body is giving you, especially in your direction of career or your direction of love and relationships and family. And of course, you can leave a comment if you have other ones you want to talk about, other topics. And this is Honey. I'm running a couple of resistance to action sessions. So if you're curious about that, sign up to the email list and you'll get more information on that as well. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you next time. Mwah.